Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another round of sound. This is the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. I'm Bob Pompeani. Thanks for staying up with us tonight. We have a lot to get into, including Andrew McCutchen. One final year, but when will it end for his situation? We'll also talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins coming off a 1-3-1 road trip and their backup goalie situation still very much up in the air. We'll get into that, but the #1 topic tonight on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown will be the Steelers at the halfway point. They're 6-2 and looking really good. Here's your panel left to right on your television screens. We begin with Tim Benz over there from Trib Live and Steelers Radio Network. In the middle, it's Chris Mueller wearing the Buster Douglas shirt underneath from Starkey and Mueller. And to the right, it's Ron Cook, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and of course the Cook and Pony Show every day, 93.7 The Fan. So Ron, let's get right into it. Steelers now 6-2, a tremendous lead in this division. What would happen today with both the Bengals and the Ravens losing again? So anything other than 13-3 in a collision course with New England, I would imagine, is unacceptable at this point, right?
Well, yeah, I don't see how they can lose more than a game. I mean, the division absolutely stinks. Baltimore loses, they have 5 losses. Cincinnati loses, they have 5 losses. They're going to get Green Bay without Aaron Rodgers. They're going to get Indianapolis without Oliver Luck. They're going to get Houston without Deshaun Watson. You still have game against Cleveland. They're in a great spot. If they don't go 13-3 and hopefully for their sake win that New England game, they should get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Kansas City lost today, so they now have 3 losses, and the Steelers own the tiebreaker over them. It couldn't have been a better day for them.
I can't see how they go 13-3 just because it's so easy to see how they go 13-3. There's a stub your toe. I don't see how it possibly could have happened. Loss coming somewhere. I don't know where it is, but that's by definition the kind of game they lose. And then the Patriot game is at best a coin flip. I thought maybe it could have been the Colts coming off of the bye, but because the Colts played as well as they did, because there was a couple big bombs to Hilton, because Brissett looked decent, I think they'll wake the Steelers up and make them realize they're not going to have a walkover, and they'll probably win in this game, so they even got helped in that regard. I still think the potential moment where they drop one that they're not supposed to is after the Patriot game. Still, believe it or not, in Houston, I'm sure they'll get over Tom Savage by that point and start another quarterback, and even if that guy's not good, who cares? We're still talking about a team that managed to lose to Mike Glennon and Blake Bortles. So I bet you there's an out-of-nowhere loss somewhere to be found for the Steelers in the second half.
Believe it or not, I'm going to take a more optimistic position and say that if they go 13-3, I think there's a decent chance that it's the losses against Cleveland, because that game doesn't mean anything. They should be favored in every single game the rest of the way, including the New England game. Green Bay would maybe scare you if you thought Hundley could do a little more, could get into the offense a little bit more, but there really is no reason for them to do anything but 7-1, maybe even 8-0. I think 8-0 should be discussed because just look at who's on that schedule. The thing that I think might be working in their favor is teams get better this time of year, and they've already had 2 bizarre, bordering on stub your toe and humiliate yourself losses. The Bears absolutely was that, and getting beat to the extent that Jacksonville beat them, although we're now sort of finding Jacksonville to be revealed as a half-decent team, at home no less. I think those are 2 embarrassing losses. That might be the quota for the year.
Thing is, with Cleveland, though, it may be important to them if they needed to clinch a home field advantage with that win. Who knows at the end of the season?
The battle of who could care less then, basically.
Right, exactly.
It could be Landry Jones to Xavier Grimble instead of Landry Jones to Kobe Hamilton.
Right.
And sadly, that'll still be better than whatever combo Cleveland throws out there if they got their A guys.
Ron, let me ask you about one area of concern that concerns you for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You can look at their third down conversions, red zone touchdown production, pass defense in terms of yardage. What concerns you the most?
Well, the offense through 8 games hasn't performed like you would hope they would. Roethlisberger has been less than Roethlisberger of old. They still haven't put together the perfect game where they'll score 30 or 35 points. I keep saying it's going to come. It better come here soon. So far, they've let me down, although Roethlisberger will tell you all he cares about is wins, and they're 6-2. I give the defense most of the credit for that. Pass defense is a worry, but as long as they can keep a pass rush up, I think those guys will be okay, at least until December 17th when Brady comes.
Ron, if you believe, though, like some people do, that this might be like late Elway that we're getting from Roethlisberger, where Le'Veon Bell plays the role of Terrell Davis and Roethlisberger gets to be a little bit more of a passenger and make plays here and there and be selective, then I think one of the worries would have to be Le'Veon Bell's touches and his workload. We saw what happened to them in New England last year when he was out basically.
Ran the wheels off.
I mean, that was it. So for me, understanding and agreeing mostly with what you said about their offense, even though they've tried to walk back that 30 points a game type of thing, if they're going to be a ball control outfit that beats the Patriots maybe in the playoffs by keeping the ball away from them, a la like Giants-Bills way back when in a Super Bowl, then you better have 26 healthy or else that plan's not going to work. So his workload would be my biggest concern.
Yeah, you know what, Chris? I tend to agree with the first part of what you said there, and I'll even echo what Ron said about the red zone. To me is the most specific thing I care about. That's how what wasn't good last year. It's not good this year either. So I am concerned about the red zone. But the Roethlisberger part, Chris, what you alluded to, there's a lot of numbers. Like, for instance, if you dig into their 4 most successful seasons with Roethlisberger as the quarterback, meaning the 3 trips to the Super Bowl and that 15-1 campaign that ended in the AFC Championship loss to New England, the numbers where he has won football games where he's had to throw for 300 yards, it's shockingly low. It's something like 6 wins in those 4 seasons where they've needed him to throw for 300 to get a victory, and none in the playoffs. So the way I look at it is just be better in the red zone where you have to be when they throw the ball. And I don't care if he gets to 300 yards again ever this year, because they haven't needed that too often to win when they've had a complimentary defense and a complimentary running game.
He's better when he is the timely surgeon with, I think, a scalpel making a big play here or there than when he is gunslinger Brett Favre. We've seen it. We've seen him make some ill-advised decisions. When he can pivot off of everything else and be, albeit a very important, the most important cog still in a lot of ways in a multifaceted attack on a multifaceted team, I think he's at his best. And I think even he would admit right now that that's the situation that's probably best for them in sum total.
You know, we can talk about this, we can talk about that. It's always going to come down to finishing ahead of New England and getting the playoff game at home if they're going to make the Super Bowl. I'll take my chances against New England at Heinz Field. We've seen it year after year after year. New England hardly ever loses at home in a playoff game. I know they did to Baltimore a number of years ago. No matter how they do it, they have to finish ahead of New England, in my opinion. And they get home field advantage. I like their chances of getting to the Super Bowl.
Okay, I like their chances better being here than there, obviously, but New England's won here twice before in the playoffs. So I think
but that was a lifetime ago. What's that, 2001, 2000? I mean, that was before Roethlisberger.
Okay, but they beat them here in the regular season too, Ron. So, I mean, like, I think the bigger deal is if you don't have to play New England to the last game, they're the 2, you're the 1, maybe they get the benefit of somebody else knocking off New England like they've gotten every other time.
Well, they've only played them one time in the last, 15 years, 14 years in the playoffs?
2004, last year, and 2001, so 3 times, and twice here.
Yeah, that's what I said, 13 years ago. This is the last time they played.
Tom Brady.
I do think
still Belichick.
Tim, I think there's a rock, paper, scissors dynamic here, though, with the Steelers, the Patriots, the Chiefs. The Chiefs clearly give the Patriots real problems. The Patriots obviously give the Steelers major problems, and it seems very much like the Steelers give the Chiefs a world of hurt. So to Ron's point, if you get that home field throughout the playoffs, theoretically, there's a chance that the Chiefs have the opportunity to do your dirty work for you.
That's my point.
And then you get them in the AFC title game. Yeah, it feels like a walkover. I'll say this much. If the Steelers get home field and then New England finds a way around Kansas City and waltzes in here to play a road AFC title game, if you made me bet a significant sum of money on who's going to win that game, I'm still betting New England until I see otherwise.
Still to come, we'll talk about Andrew McCutchen. The Pirates exercised their option on him for 1 more season, but realistically, how long is he here before he is traded? We'll get into that. And we'll also talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins coming up next. 1 3-1 trip. They have some issues. We'll talk about them when we come back right here on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown, KDKA-TV. The #1 Cochran Sports Showdown is brought to you by #1 Cochran. Go one better. And by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have a greater hand in your health.